Welcome back to the UEFA Champions League review right here on Euro Football Daily. Today it's me and Zach Jalab running through last night's biggest and best results. We are starting with the big game. Obviously, Man United losing 1-0 at home.
Yes, their third consecutive home Champions League knockout stage loss for the first time in their history. This was also Barcelona's fourth Champions League victory against Manchester United, with each one coming in a different stadium. For those little facts out there, Nou Camp, Stadio Olimpico, Wembley, and now Old Trafford. The goal, though, was from an OG by Luke Shaw, who, to be fair, after a masterclass from Messi, it was a bit unfortunate. If he didn't put it in, Coutinho was putting it in anyway.
But I think Luke Shaw's got to do better defensively. He looks over his shoulder twice to check Suarez's position in play, and that is the problem with playing a fullback in a centre-back role.
Well, it's actually the 8th own goal Manchester United have scored in the Champions League. No side have conceded more in the history of the competition. Barcelona have won 5 of their past 7 away games against English opponents in the Champions League, drawing 1 and losing 1, as many as they had in their first 17 games in the competition. And it's unsurprising that Barcelona dominated the ball with 66% possession, but the Spanish side only managed 6 shots on the day, whilst United had 10. But
just so inaccurate, though.
Barca put 3 on target, United put 0, except for what on earth was Delop doing? Jesus Christ.
I said this on the stream last night. If you haven't watched that already, go back and watch it. But some of the chances we had warranted shots on target. Dallot's header has to hit the target.
He just overruns
Rashford's volley has to hit the target.
Rashford has to bring it down.
I know.
So it's just, maybe it's just not an experienced head on him. Anyway, Gerard Piqué, who's now 32, was a rock at the back for Barcelona. Didn't do too much in terms of tackles and interceptions, only made 1 tackle, but he won 3 aerial duels out of 4 and made 9 clearances, the most in the game. And Luis Suarez, who had 3 shots, all off target. He's now had more shots without finding the net than any other player in the Champions League this season, with 33. I mean, he was also quite good though on the day. Like he helped with the hold-up play. He pressed high, just didn't score. I mean, he had one opportunity that kind of sticks to my mind.
Where he put it front post and he should have gone across the keeper.
Yeah, but is what it is. How are United though, Tomlinson?
I thought United were okay. I think people say, well, we didn't have any shots on target, didn't create enough opportunities. Barcelona didn't really get out of first or second gear, which is fair enough. But the quality of the teams on paper really showed how far Manchester United are off competing for European glory. It's just not a good enough squad to win a Champions League, Manchester United's right now. And there were some outstanding performances. I thought how Solskjaer set up was actually quite interesting, with a 3-5-2, using 2 fullbacks to double up on Lionel Messi, in Diogo Dalot and Luke Shaw. A kind of inverted fullback situation on the right-hand side with he who shall not be named. I'm refusing to say his name after that performance last night and the performances I've seen so far this season. You all know who I'm talking about by now. It didn't necessarily work perfectly, but I thought we were more solid than I was expecting defensively on the day. I thought we were quite good in midfield, but we had no real cutting edge up front. We had there was no real time where I thought, wow, United are piling on the pressure, we're going to score here.
Lukaku just wasn't on it. I mean, Rashford had an okay game, I think, in my opinion.
I think the trouble is that Rashford's not fully fit. We saw him pulled out the international break with injury. We saw him having to play through injury against Liverpool. He apparently picked up a virus midweek and was forced to play in this one because Martial was also struggling with injury. Romelu Lukaku looked really tired towards the end. I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said as much in his post-match press conference as well. And like you said, Rom did a good job holding the ball up, but his influence on the game, probably not good enough. 2 touches of the ball in the first 25 minutes. In the 68 minutes he was on the pitch, he touched the ball 20 times. That's 19 less than Marc-Andre Ter Stegen touched it. Which is, I mean, obviously Marc-Andre Ter Stegen is involved heavily in Barcelona's play and operates almost as another centre-back at times, on the ball anyway.
His distribution's mental.
But equally, I think he needs to do more off the ball, Romelu Lukaku, to make room for other players. I was really surprised Jesse Lingard didn't play in this one. I thought this is a sort of bread and butter Jesse Lingard game where he is super busy and gets in between the lines. Rashford, though, I just think he looks tired, man. Rashford looks tired. There's so much pressure on his shoulders.
He's been playing in and out. He's been playing basically for the whole of Manchester United since he was, 17, 18.
Yeah, really
18.
young.
And every single game
I know.
being called upon, which maybe it's just a little bit of burnout.
And he did have 4 shots in this game, which was a match high. So he still knows how to get shots off. But like you said, that big moment where the ball's dropping, I felt like he could have brought that down and then
maybe
got
in a couple more
off.
years' time, when he's played a bit more, he'll realise, okay, mate, I'd bring this down instead of having the volley.
Yeah. The other negative on the night, very clearly, was he who shall not be named, operating entirely on that right-hand side.
Oh my
Gave the ball away 32 times, attempted 11 crosses, 0 completed. I think attempted 4 take-ons, 0 completed. 1 throw-in that he threw straight to a Barcelona player. Nearly every attack that went down that right-hand side broke down early doors. I mean,
I've never watched him play a full 90 minutes, or like specifically just watch United play a full 90 minutes in a while. And oh my God.
Just not good enough at this level, which is a shame, you know, because I don't want to batter him because he has been a decent servant throughout the years to Manchester United. He doesn't deserve to get hung out to dry, but just not really good enough anymore for this level, given that performance last night and a cumulative performances across the season. Let's touch on some bright sparks though, because enough negativity about Manchester United. I don't think anybody thought they were going to win going into that game, really. I think I got my prediction nailed on, actually, at the start of last night's stream.
Yes.
1-0. Either way, let's talk about Scott McSauce. Let's talk about McSaucey, because how good was Scott McTominay last night? He gets battered, he gets compared to Darren Fletcher. I hear people in the office saying he'll be at Stoke in a year's time. He was outstanding last night. 100% aerial duels won, 100% tackles, 5 ball recoveries, 3 fouls, 80% take-on success.
He was very good last night. He was very good last night.
He very rarely gives the ball away, and he might not rip up trees at Manchester United, but looks like an assured squad player. We seem to be losing Ander Herrera. That's pretty much all but confirmed today to PSG for £200,000 a week. They're going to be paying him. And McTominay, you know, looks like he's going to be a strong squad player for us.
Yeah, that's
strong squad player, which is fine. Also, props to Fred. Has been operating slightly further forward than I thought he would at Manchester United. Last night operated as a clear DM, a Matic replacement. Obviously, Matic out with injury, and he was great in there. He strung loads of passes together. I think he won 15 ball recoveries on the night, which is really, really impressive when you're playing against a Barcelona team that attack in the way they do and keep the ball the way they do. Some lovely cross-field passes. Got a few more stats here. 87% pass accuracy. Also got 3 shots off, 2 tackles, 4 interceptions. A really impressive performance, given that it's taken him a while to bed himself into this side. And I would not be averse to seeing Fred start in that DM slot over Matic. I think the big concerns are his physicality in that role and whether he can do it in the Premier League against more physical units than Barcelona. But on the ball and off the ball defensively, looks great. And I really hope he grows into the role. Nevertheless, 1-0 with an away goal, not a great result, but not impossible to overturn.
Not impossible. I mean,
could have been worse.
It could have been worse. And also, Barcelona at the Camp Nou aren't necessarily as strong as they have been.
I mean, they haven't lost at the Camp Nou in the Champions League since 2013.
But this season in the Liga, they have lost a few games.
Yeah, they've also shipped a few goals. I think we'll struggle to turn it over, to be completely honest. But when you weigh up the squads, you can see why. United need some serious investment in that defence, man. They need some serious investment in the full-back area on the right-hand side. Probably going to need a Herrera replacement in that central midfield role. As good as McSauce was last night, I don't think he's going to rock it every single week in there. Either way, not a terrible result. A little bit of a dull game. But Manchester United still in the tie, somehow.
Just before we move on to our next match, make sure you guys have subscribed to EuroFootball Daily and click the notification bell so you are buzzed on every single video we upload, which is daily. It makes sense. EuroFootball Daily, Football Daily. But Joe, Ajax versus Juve, what was the score?
Yes, it was 1-1. I think Ajax will be relatively pleased, but maybe see it as a missed opportunity. Obviously, Cristiano Ronaldo opened the scoring here, got that crucial away goal. Knockout rounds are almost always won on away goals. That was his 125th in the competition. Obviously, the competition's record goal scorer, and came exactly to the day 12 years after his first, which of course came when United were rolling teams over and beat Roma 7-1 at Old Trafford.
Back in the day.
A lovely diving header. The ball by João Cancelo. Oh, absolute defence splitter, isn't it? That was, though, Juventus' only shot on target, which is a bit of an interesting one. Ajax obviously started the second half on absolute fire because David Neres came out and scored a worldie after just 20 seconds. But otherwise, I thought Ajax stifled Juventus really well, and the Portuguese as well, because he only had 2 shots, which is a rarity for Cristiano Ronaldo. This is a guy who's taking between 6 and 7 shots a game, an absolute shot machine over in Serie A. CR7's goal, though, was his 5th in his last 8 Champions League appearances this season. The guy is ridiculous, man, in the Champions League. I think he has got 25 goal contributions since the start of last season in the Champions League alone.
That's mental.
Soak it up, 25 goal contributions. But even more remarkably than that, do you know the top scorer at the Amsterdam Arena or the Johan Cruyff Arena is actually Ronaldo in the Champions League?
What?
I know. That's a ridiculous stat. He has got 6 goals at the Johan Cruyff Arena in the Champions League.
That's actually mental.
That's absolutely ridiculous.
That's also not good reading for Ajax.
No, it's not. But equally, they haven't played in the Champions League a whole lot,
true.
have they? And when they have, they've come up against the likes of Real Madrid
Very
and
true.
Juventus. But equally, last night, I think Ajax will be feeling a little bit aggrieved. You know, they had 61% possession. They had 19 shots. They had 6 shots on target. I mean, 6 shots on target, you should really be winning the game. Van den Beek missed a huge chance early doors on his left peg, and it went about a millimetre wide. Probably should have scored. XG had it down as 1.1 to 0.7, so basically XG was saying 1-1 was a fair result. But I think Juventus will feel indebted to Wojciech Szczesny. 5 saves in a Champions League quarter-final. Probably indicative.
Was mad. One of his saves yesterday was actually ridiculous.
Probably indicative that you should have lost the game. I think that Frenkie de Jong was the key man for Ajax, as he is nearly every single game. What a baller. What a player. Obviously, Max Allegri came out after the game to say our job was to try and stop Frenkie de Jong. He is the heart of all things good for Ajax. They basically tried to man-mark him with Bentancur, and it didn't really work. Because Frenkie de Jong was too intelligent, realised he was being man-marked, and as Max Allegri said after the game, he dropped in between the centre-backs, and Juve had no real cover for him. And then he just started to run the game and dictate play. But Max Allegri overall is still winless against the Amsterdam side. Still winless against Ajax in 5 attempts. Played 5, won 0, drawn 4, lost 1. I still think Juventus are favourites because of that away goal, but we've seen how dangerous Ajax can be away from home. Yeah. Real Madrid learnt that lesson, and Max Allegri is going to have a lot of pressure on him in that quarter-final second leg because he needs to be competing in Champions League finals to justify Cristiano Ronaldo at 100 million.
I mean, yes, that's the exact reason why you buy Cristiano Ronaldo. You know you're going to win the league, so spend £100 million on the player who's arguably the best player in that competition. But anyway, Ajax now have to go away to Juve, and they've been great away in this competition this year. They've been superb, in fact. They've scored 13 goals in 7 away games this season, including the qualifiers, with Dynamo Kiev the only team to make them not score away from home. And look, Ajax have also proved themselves capable of troubling the very best. They drew 1-1 away at Bayern Munich, and obviously they beat Real Madrid 4-1 at the Bernabeu in the last 16.
Mad result.
Ridiculous result, that. However, we spoke about that enough. Anyway, some key performers. Rodrigo Bentancur got 7 tackles, a game high.
That's ridiculous.
2 interceptions, 4 dribbles, 1 shot. Ziyech was also great on the night. 86% pass accuracy, 4 tackles and interceptions from the wing and attacking midfield. Completed 4 dribbles and took 7 shots.
Talk to me about Frenkie de Jong, though.
Mate, it's no surprise he's moved to Barcelona with these numbers.
Frenkie de Jong.
92% pass accuracy, 9 tackles and interceptions, 1 aerial duel, 1 dribble, 1 shot.
Freak.
It's ridiculous. I want to know who the next kind of Frenkie de Jong is going to be from the player that used to play centre-back has been moved into midfield as he's grown up through the academy.
But have you seen the tackle? There's a tackle on, I think it might be Bernardeschi or something like that, where he's bursting and he gets about 30 yards on him, and then Frenkie de Jong comes out of nowhere like a greyhound and lunges like prime Beckenbauer to nick the ball. It's incredible.
It just credits the Ajax Academy. So like whoever spotted him and went, you know what, we can play this boy in midfield. Fantastic. Because imagine if it was Frenkie de Jong and Delict at the back now. Who knows? Anyway, the return leg is next Tuesday. But do you guys at home think Ajax have the capability to beat Juve and progress to the next round? Let us know in the poll above.
So that's it for this week's episode of UEFA Champions League review. We will be back next week as well. A very tired Zach Jalab over here today, so bear with him and me. But what else is coming up?
Well, why not head over to FDFC? Check out Sevens, which is going out live today. We do a lot better than we did last week. So if you've not seen that,
Is this
definitely
my
check
goal?
out that one. No, your goal's next week.
Wait for this goal.
That is a mad goal. I mean, you thought, what's his name? David Neres is good. Joe Tomlinson, even better.
Oh my God, let's wrap it up. Bye.
Bye.